官の指揮下に入る。よろしく頼む。
What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Hardcorn, and today we're here with one of the most requested additions to the game. A very special character, Mirabell Bell. We'll take a look at this bell end and see if she's going to be worth your gems or not. And don't forget to like and subscribe, or else the Stormcats are going to bust your door down at 3 AM. Now let's get started. Mirabell is a Protect Machine character. She's the first one in the game's 5 years of life, and certainly has making a strong appearance. She's a fan favorite extending from her time in Battle Arena into RPGX, and now into AT. Her serious demeanor, style, muscles, and large proportions are a perfect storm for a lot of players. She's a Florida woman, to say the least. See those kinds of highs with the bodies at Miami Beach, and you always know she's carrying. My Florida woman, baby. Ooh, gotta love her. She leads a special operations troop called the Stormcats. They use armored suits, the same as XPS ones we see all the time that we fight. She even has her own special one, and as a playable character, she makes great use of it. Our favorite walking cavalry. In terms of stats, I'll put a little breakout showing her progression from 175, and then we can make a comparison from 87 to there. So at 87 over here, she's got, 5,000, 5,700, 5,536, 5,880. And these are pretty middle of the road in terms of a character who is at 87. Most people in the 87 range have 6,000 series health, over nearly 6,000 and above attack. Defense is pretty much the same though, but criticals could have been higher as well. She's painfully average in all of these stats. So she has to shore it up in other places, to say the least. Like when we compare it over to something like 75, she has like 3840 in health, 4503 in attack, 3957 in defense, and 4205 with criticals. She makes significant jumps in each one of those stats, but they all end about the same way in terms of at 87. So growth isn't really a massive determiner of what's going to change with her. Obviously, awakening is what does all that sort of thing in the first place. In terms of weapons, Mirabell uses automatic rifles. Being a unique weapon type not currently shared, it's going to take some investment to gear her up. Cleansing Everwhite is the weapon you get when you buy the god-awful character package. You don't actually need this. This isn't like Ragnarok where they put her unique debuff behind it. What this does though is smooth out the power spikes on Mirabell. She's very focused on gaining particles to access her ultimate, so this covers it. It also covers this with charge gain and refund. Skills using her suit are boosted too, and she gets a buff while moving. This is just for smoothing her out, there's no other way to say it. All this does is make a very strong character even better. Her other options exist with her gacha gear and arena. Valiant Sigurd being her gacha signature and providing range damage boost with instant armor removal at the cost of particles. The Momochi weapon has done what it's always done and will continue to do so with great benefit towards Mirabell. Her SR weapons give human damage and critical rate up. All in all, the arena weapon is still the most logical weapon of choice. In the future, possibly upgrading to her gacha signature for a range boost when equipped. Every single weapon helps out whether she wants to go assault or support. It's a testament to her versatility. Now take a look at some of her costumes. You've got her default here, the Stormcat Commander. Her rival outfit with Aina. The Peerless Beauty set. The Bunny Girl. Drill Sergeant Mirabell, her gym clothes. the Military Maid series, and the bathrobe. So now we move over to Affinity, and this is what she's going to be getting. So level 5, it's a 10% VR coin boost. Level 10, it's BP plus 2. Level 15, it's another 5% on arena coins. And then at level 20, it's 10% more VR coins. So she's going to end with 20% VR coins, 5% arena coin boost, and plus 2 to BP. So now we're going to move on to the skills portion. But first, we need to talk about her unique passive. At the start of the battle, 60% particles are charged. She puts on an exoskeleton suit while the ultimate's active, and allows her to use close combat, riot tackle, and storm missiles. Not listed as the 4th skill, spread shot. After using the ultimate, pressing the ultimate button again or waiting 15 seconds triggers an area attack around the character and ends the ultimate. She revolves a lot around using her ultimate because it gives her an immense power spike. It's a transformative ult that ends in a global explosion. Particle generation now matters a lot with her, as when you're not using the ult, you're missing out on quite a lot. However, when she puts on the suit, she doesn't gain the set benefits of the skills there. Being able to spam them often helps offset this. It lasts for 15 seconds, and to some it may not feel very long, but it is long enough to get the job done in most situations. Mirabell's gameplay is a real third-person shooter experience. You're going to immediately notice that the camera is permanently fixed to be lower and over the shoulder for her. This creates a unique problem. All other characters have a far back camera that doesn't get caught on objects or geometry. Thanks to Mirabell's change, the camera will get caught on many more objects and will snap harder on enemies that teleport, or if a crowd of enemies gets in her way, the screen is going to get very cluttered. But man, does that position give you a great look at how she throws that thing back. My goodness. Oh, that's fantastic. Now it's my favorite part, skills overview. We'll begin with Full Metal Jacket, her Taimanin art. This provides several important features, namely increased damage, particle generation, and most importantly, piercing. It says penetrate, but to avoid confusion I will call it piercing. In crowds and bosses with ads, the piercing feature has really great benefit. One bullet hitting multiple enemies and gaining charge is extremely valuable. Not to mention it's shoring up the weak bullets to make her grind down enemies that much faster. Following up her Taimanin art is Spread Shot. This works similar to Emily's homing missiles in that you activate it just by firing normally. Emily's missiles, though, will track. Spread Shot fires a round or rounds of buckshot depending if you have the set effect. This doesn't have the same range as her rifle rounds, and this is where the range of Mirabell's attack becomes important. Being too far away will cause you to whiff the shotgun blast, even though rifle rounds can still be hitting. This is also a skill that becomes modified when you use her ultimate. During her suit usage, this skill turns into homing missiles, but it does not get the set's benefits. Firing on a 3-second cooldown though helps a lot. In green, she has increased range with a shotgun blast and missiles. They now equal the distance of the rifle rounds. Blue though is the real meat of the situation. This applies a 10-second 30% defense down. Super important for team play because she can perpetually apply it. Just don't miss. Red being a distance applies stun sees use in the arena and not much else. For her signature green skill, Fire Support, she marks a location and then it's raised by bombs. Multi-hit ranged attack that gives a welcome speed boost, more hits, and a crit damage modifier. Synergistic to green supports of past and present. Perfect solo skill or just usage in general, as it assaults an entire group of enemies with multiple hits. She's quick about laying down the marker too, this way she doesn't get mobbed during the casting. As long as it leaves her hand, that little marker, it's going to activate, and it's pretty quick about it too. Now we're going to move on to Close Combat. This is one of her few melee skills and it feels really good to use. Mirabell quickly dons her armor and beats up enemies in front of her. Nothing gets in her way because of this super armor too. You are going to complete this skill for better or worse. Being her red signature, she gets the fun benefits of 10 attack boost, increased range on the swings, and a 50% crit rate boost. I see this as something fun to use on clearing events or dailies due to the speed and AoE clearing power. This is also a skill used during her ult and gets no benefits from the sets equipped. Now this is Combat Turret. It's a familiar skill. That alone explains a lot about what this skill does. She's like Roland from Borderlands and drops a little turret buddy to shoot at enemies. Each shot hits twice, so you can plop this down and get help generating particles. This is the worst of the two familiars she has. This would be more fun to use if the turret could apply effects or even draw aggro from enemies. She has a better familiar anyways. Now here's an attack that doesn't feel like a waste of space. This is Storm Missiles. On a double dash, she fires hard-hitting missiles with a sizable AoE on each. You gotta watch those wrist rockets because being her blue signature, with the set it can apply a defense down, fire more missiles, and a 150 damage modifier. This is her group content skill. I say this because it applies a defense down that doesn't conflict with Spread Shot and Riot Tackle. Not to mention, it keeps her away from big enemies. Other characters, when they have missile skills like this, they're going to sit still until it's completely over. Mirabell knows to shoot and move. During the animation, she moves backwards and recovers fast to keep her on the move. Because of her wearing her hard suit, she's armored during the whole thing. One important thing about this skill is to pay attention to where the lock-on indicator is. When this skill kills an enemy, it doesn't course correct. Many times has the lock-on changed during the dash, causing her to target a mob, kill it, and then she proceeds to whiff all the rest and eat a ton of damage. In a single target battle, this isn't a problem, but the moment more enemies come in, it creates noise. This can be mitigated by getting closer and taking advantage of the armor or repositioning through staggered dodges to get the missiles to account for this discrepancy. It too doesn't get the set effects, but the fact it can be spammed a lot puts it a cut above and helps spike her damage. It's really, really good. Command Assemble. This is her extreme dodge. This is also the other skill that summons a familiar for 10 seconds. A simpler input, and it doesn't compete with a far superior skill like Combat Turret does. These are the same XPS units she summons during her ult. Her Stormcats take the heat off of her and give her buffs at the same time. Green and red give 20% boost to speed and damage respectively, while blue extends the duration by 5 seconds, making it last longer than the cooldown. A fantastic tool when she's all alone, since it lets her take the heat off and reposition. Mirabell goes in hard and fast with Blitzkrieg to do damage and make an escape at the same time. Very simple skill that does serviceable damage. With it going off of the main slot, this can fit into many different setups. The most noticeable is the main green. This is her only healing skill. She attacks with 4 slashes and 6 shots, and each of those hits can heal off of the damage dealt. 3% lifesteal for a quantity, not so much quality heal. Blue giving 7% particles on usage doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're using it every 8 seconds, it's a great way to keep the charge bar going. However, in blue, Blitz competes with Riot Tackle for input. It's truly a case-by-case situation. With red, it adds in more attacks. It's not something really to write home about, but it's more or less incentive to use it on the other 2 colors. Now, Scramble here is her retaliation skill. On use, it gives her a stun with a thrown flashbang, she jumps backwards, then summons an XPS unit to dash forward and punch the enemy in the way. It's really cool to see in action. I enjoy using it for fun, but in a practical sense, I'm missing out on more beneficial skills. Save a slot by positioning better and don't overcommit, and you won't need this. And now finally, her last skill. Mirabell goes hard in the paint with Riot Tackle. Extremely useful skill in all colors. The 2-set requirement makes things easy to slot in for her and provides benefits in all colors. This does put her in melee range and she's armored during the attack so that she can get it off. It does come with a sizable recovery animation, so alone she can bulldoze enemies, but in groups and hard content, this is something that she needs to use wisely. The defense down is a huge benefit, since it can combine with other 2 defense downs she has. After maxing skill cooldown, this skill is an 8.4 second cooldown. Spread shot and storm missiles are also on that same cooldown too. This allows you to stagger defense and always keep it on the enemy. Now here's a little section I wanted to try so I can show how she is as an AI partner. She's designed to be a strong ranged playable and AI character. She will stay far away from the enemy, take great advantage of her ranged attacks, and dodge often. Her basic string is so fast it will pull the boss to her since it's the most active threat striking it. This is where you as a player have to manage threat quickly so she doesn't get run up on. If the boss or some strong adds get loose and target her, it's gonna go south pretty fast. It's not crazy for her to get cornered or stun locked, and she won't be able to get out unless you bring one of her armored skills or she ults. Typically, if she's an AI character, I like her to do all the range damage skills and I'll take care of pulling boss aggro. The smaller the area, the more beneficial she'll be. Mirabell does the thing as Astaroth does when she's firing her basic string, which is to back up to a max range while firing, missing a lot of her shots, and then begins moving back towards the enemy. This means she will whiff spread shot constantly. Her ult with AI usage brings its own problems. All of the attacks are armored, so that means she's going to complete them, without any regards to what's going on against a boss. This is very apparent in Total War due to the boss having armor on all their animations or throwing down a homing projectile that centers on her. It hurts to see a cool character like this get totally decimated because of decision making beyond itself. So now, let's see what she looks like in a more practical setting.
準備は万端か。なら行こう。 勝利だ。任務完了。
Now that we've seen her in action, let's come to some conclusions about her. Mirabell is a very straightforward character. You see the target, you gun it down using the entire might of your arsenal. They were really rubbing their brain cells with this one, and you can feel it. However, not every aspect about her is perfect. That's good too, it gives you something to learn. With her low base damage on rifle rounds, it makes every skill usage feel that much more important. This reliance on skill usage outside of ults means if she gets interrupted or you miss, you're gonna feel the cost. Her ultimate is super cool. 4 skills with extremely low cooldowns combined with the defense boost and having super armor for the entire duration is fantastic. To top it all off, you still get a nuke. When you play her and do all this, it's really satisfying and strong. When the AI uses her and does all this, those skills become improperly used and Mirabell takes a lot of damage. Locking her out of the ult is such a major detriment, so it pays to learn. Her only healing is relegated to green, but only if it's in the main slot. This could be seen as a detriment, but I see a thematic value in it. Does a commander lead troops and also perform surgery and medical tasks? No, they don't. It's not a good use of resources, so it can be delegated to someone else. This is how Mirabell's healing is. It's enough to patch her up and keep going. You either go for the balancing act of slotting Blitzkrieg's heal, or you have Lapis and Shizuru go do it, so you can have Mirabell blow up all the enemies. I go over a lot of group content because she really shines there. She's got teammates to take the heat off of her, heal her, and buff her too. It's not that she isn't capable alone, they made her solo Ventures kit to be green focused with AoE and speed. They know green has crit boosting and damage, and Blitzkrieg has a damage based heal. She certainly isn't powerless. The only color I have trouble thinking of applications for is red, since it is all over the place. It just feels like a bit of laziness since most characters in their colors have a cohesiveness, and some just have what feels like random effects. Red on Mirabell is in the latter. Green and blue for her are just so capable, you wouldn't feel too hurt about not using red. The low-centered camera is a challenge upon itself. This is because it gets caught on objects a lot, and the screen being filled with enemies, since it's fixed to be closer and lower. I say it's a challenge, not some insurmountable task. The question still remains though, is she going to be worth your gems? She requires a sizable investment floor to get her going since her damage is so low. Much like Emily, she's gear dependent, but you get to feel a little more skillful in your firing. It's not a real super high investment either. Most of my time with her in the showcase was at 75. Granted, I have the gear to move mountains with her. She promotes a more attrition based playstyle. This sort of hit and run gameplay and whittling the enemy down is something newer players do on hard content because of lower gear. Believe me, I totally get it, and sometimes I still gotta do it too. With only 2 colors to really gear for, she makes it simple for new players to get her going. She even brings friends to help out in the fight too to make things easier. All this together makes for a nice smooth leveling curve from starting in the beginning all the way into the game's hardest content. So yes, she's worth it for new players and old. Chocolate protein powder mommy gets the job done in more ways than one. Because who doesn't love this spicy brown woman? Because I sure as hell know I do. Man, she is great. Thank you for stopping by and learning about Mirabell. Leave a comment down below if you're going to get her or you have any questions about her. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.